Well, well,
Oh,
well.
hey, what's
Who
up,
we
Connor?
got? What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm not doing too bad. You know, um, Kelly had said there was a 3.5 minute video, and I was watching that thing the whole time. That was not what I was expecting. I thought it was, I thought it was something new.
Oh, you thought it was Pi Day, Pi
Yeah,
Showdown video?
that's why I asked earlier, like, at whose expense is this 3 minutes?
We've got a couple of those though. They're up on YouTube now, so people can go
Is
check
that
those out later.
is that where they are?
See the history of the Pie Showdown.
Yeah, I just think
People have opinions.
Yeah, and our marketing team has a knack for catching me in stupid and silly situations. So.
Well, they're mostly at my expense, so we're okay.
Yeah, well, mine too. I know, and also
Oh man.
also I'm the one doing stupid things and getting caught. It's not
Well,
that
I'm the
somebody's
one with the
making it.
opinions that no one agrees with.
Well, you've known that
All
for a long
right,
time.
so welcome everybody to another brewery happy hour. Couple things off the bat. Obviously, like we've been talking about, it's March. It's Pie Showdown month, or as Jeremy calls it, International Pie Month. Is that what you were calling it? Something like that.
International
But,
pie arguments. Yeah,
second year running with the heavy month of dessert themed pie inspired or pie adjacent inspired beers.
pie-ish.
Yeah, pie-ish beers. So yeah, we've got those available. Several things for members, a couple things for public. So yeah, those are available now. And then of course the big one is the anniversary coming up. So there we go, 14th anniversary. That'll be Saturday, August 13th. And so members had first crack at the tickets last week, and they just went public today. So we're looking forward to seeing everybody out there. We've got a ton of industry friends coming, producers of beer, wine, mead. I think maybe do we have some kombucha or some ciders coming as well. So kind of everybody, a lot of cool food, food trucks and food vendors and stuff that'll be there. So we're looking forward to throwing a really cool party and hoping everybody comes out for it. We also have we're having a Sunday hangover brunch. And so we've got some 2-day packages left. Those are going pretty quick because members got a shot at those first. And so they can join us at either the brewery or Brewery Taru for a catered hangover lunch on that Sunday, August 14th. So yeah, cool. Do we want to hop into the beer? I think that's what everybody's here for, right? You want to bring some people on?
Yeah, I've got a beer. I can't tell you what it is.
It looks like, is that Saison de Lente?
I could tell you what that one was.
Okay. Cool. So who do you want to bring on first?
Let's bring on Brett. I already see somebody asking.
Brett. All right. Somebody wants Brett. Let's give them what they want. There we go.
What's up, guys?
What's going on, Brett?
Cheers, guys. How you doing?
Good. You want to introduce yourself for people that might not know you?
Yeah, Brett Griswold. I've been with the company almost 2 years now. Tasting room manager over at the Dunn location. Still getting familiar with everything. There's just so much to learn with a company that's been around for so long. So I'm just it's been a pleasure so far, and seeing all the comments with people I'm familiar with is pretty fun.
Who's David Griswold?
That's my older brother, unfortunately.
Okay, I figured he's some relation. He's like, where's Brett? Right on. Well, welcome, Brett.
Cheers, guys.
This is what I usually say. I say, welcome to the show.
There we go.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. Is this the show?
I also say that when I'm guest bartending, when I'm in the pit at the tasting room.
The pit, yeah.
Yeah, when somebody walks in, I say, welcome to the show.
Until they want a beer, then you got to walk away and have us do it.
Yeah, because I'm not very good at pouring beer. Quite honestly.
Just a speed thing, man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Not good at pouring it for other people, right?
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right,
I'm pretty good at pouring it down my gullet, though. So.
What about
Alyssa Hood?
Hi guys.
Hey, there she is.
Hello. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Going good.
Good. I'm a little nervous.
Alyssa?
This is my first little live stream. Yeah.
Awesome. Why don't you tell everybody who you are and what you do at the brewery?
Oh yeah. My name's Alyssa Hood. I am sales team for Orange County and East LA, and I started about 8 or 9 months ago. So
Nice.
yeah.
It's awesome. Look at all
Thanks,
that beer. Where are you at?
I'm sitting in my office and I have, this is my like sample rack, my home
Yeah.
sample rack.
Nice.
Brew Keller,
Yeah.
some Gozes.
Some
Yeah.
grab and goes. Yeah, it's pretty empty right now. I took a lot with me today.
Nice.
Awesome. Who else is out there, Connor? Who's backstage?
I think we want to bring on. Let's bring on Sam, pilot brewer.
Oh, what up, Sam?
Hi,
What's
Sam.
going on, Sam?
Hey, I'm Sam, the pilot brewer. Been here at the brewery for coming up on 2 years now. As you can see, I'm in New York.
Yeah.
We're here today.
That's awesome.
That's what I
man.
thought.
Yeah. Guys, Sam, as he said, he's been on our brewing team for about 2 years. He's, I think, Sam, was it around October or so you took on the pilot job? Yeah. So Sam took over pilot brewing then, and he's really done a really great job for us, and he's a fantastic individual, but even a better brewer, which is weird. I should say that the other way around. He's a fantastic brewer, but even a better individual.
There you go.
But he's responsible for a lot of the new pilot beers that you've been seeing in the tasting room over the last 6 months. And most recently, him and Keith pulled off that cacao single origin cacao tasting thing at True. So he's done some really good work for us, and thanks for all of that, Sam. Man, Brett, you've got some fans. You got Eric Griswold on as well. Who's Eric?
Yeah, they're trying to take my spotlight.
The whole band.
Awesome. Who else is out? Who else is backstage?
We got Micah floating around somewhere, I think.
Mm.
Want to bring on Micah? Here he is.
Hey, there he is.
Hey guys,
Speak of the
Hi,
devil.
Come on,
Micah.
I know. What a coincidence. It was almost like it was planned.
So everybody knows Micah. I'm sure he doesn't want to introduce himself. I'm pretty sure everybody knows him.
He's been
Yeah,
on
I
here
make
before.
Yeah,
I
he
make
makes
beer in its sour.
Right. He's been at True for the last year. He's doing some great work over there. So thanks for that, Micah.
Cool. I guess time to move into some beers, right? That's what people are here for. I think that we'll kick it off with one of our pie beers. I think maybe there's something queued up to kick off the pie showdown. There we go.
That was
Now the
it?
broadcast can officially start.
Really?
Yeah, it's
That was it?
Monday Night Football on Fox, dude.
I'm so surprised. I thought there was more to that. Man.
Oh man! So I think we'll start with I'm cracking it open right now. The new pastry stout for the month, the Practice What You Peach.
That's right.
This beer's so good.
Inspired beer, available to members and public right now, online and in the tasting room. So cool. Who wants to? Jeremy, you want to talk about maybe some of the inspiration here?
I mean, not really. But what I was actually hoping was to have you kind of tell us a little bit about your thoughts on the beer.
Well, I just opened it, so give me a second.
Yeah.
Let me.
Well, I can tell you this, you know, if you're a fan of the brewery, you know that we like making these kind of beers, and making a pie beer is not a new thing for us. But I think this is a quintessential pie style beer for us. In other words, usually when we make a pie style beer, we always put cinnamon in it. And the cinnamon in a beer is actually kind of what started this argument between Connor and I back in the day.
The pie versus cobbler beers.
Yeah, and you know, Connor's not a huge fan of cinnamon in beer. I don't mean
No, I like cinnamon. I just think we use the cinnamon to imitate crust.
Yeah.
We don't
No,
need
no.
crust on a cobbler.
No, we don't use cinnamon to imitate crust. We use cinnamon as a pie spice. You know, pies have spice to it.
Right, a pie spice.
A pie spice, yeah. Which is
Yeah, not a cobbler spice.
what's the main ingredient in a pie spice?
Yeah, but we're talking about
Cinnamon,
pies,
right? Yeah.
not cobblers.
So this is the quintessential cinnamon pie beer, and you know, this is where like I said, this is where the argument started, and this is where I tried one time to put cinnamon in a cobbler beer, and that's where Connor really lost his. He just lost it.
No, I think it all started. I think the actual beginning of it was trying to call a cobbler beer a crumble or something like that, or a crisp. I don't remember what it was.
No, that came after. That came just to prove a point that you were wrong. But really, the deal is, generally speaking, when we do make pie beers, we use cinnamon. There's an exception to that rule, and that's a beer called Pie R Square. But that's Connor's beer, and Connor doesn't like cinnamon in his pies. So when we do that beer, we don't put cinnamon. But I think Practice What You Peach is, it's a fun beer. It's hard to get peaches to really show in a stout. We're working on a mango stout currently. Keith and team are working on, and it's hard to get mango to show in a stout as well. So stout has very roasty flavors they're just really hard to overcome. Something like chocolate pairs really well with the stout, and it's really easy to get it to take on those chocolate flavors because a lot of those roast malts have that chocolate flavor to them. But peach is really a really tricky thing. So I think it's a really good beer. It's obviously available to the public, affordable, sweet stout, and I think it shows really well.
Yeah, I think like you said, it's very roast forward. I think you get more of the peach on the back end. Kind of get the notes of peach on the finish. But yeah, it's really roasty. It kind of mimics. I get kind of that kind of biscuity pastry kind of flavor out of it, especially in the aroma. It's very crusty smelling, I just get some of the biscuity stuff from it. But yeah,
it kind of
really
reminds me.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, it kind of reminds me of the boysenberry pie a little bit.
Yeah.
I
also don't think it's as sweet as some of the other ones, which I think is a good thing because we get, some of them can be really sweet because they're supposed to be, and some of them are a little more nuanced. And I think that's what we've got going on here with the
and that's by design.
And the cinnamon, and yeah,
that's totally by design. It's a more accessible, closer to beer stout than maybe some of the other beers we might be talking about that really, are almost more fruit beers than they are stout beers.
Right.
There's a lot of juicy qualities to it. The peach shows through a lot. I'm very surprised with the with the stout factor coming in. You get that kind of sweetness and kind of summer vibes of a peach.
Yeah,
I see it.
Yeah, Chris Barling, he was in the tasting room the other day. He had him and his wife. They had a cooler bag with a half gallon of ice cream. Scooping it out and stuff. It was pretty cool. I didn't have any. Thank you for offering, Chris. But I was on to other things that night.
Oh, we got a question here. Lover of ports and stouts. Thickness.
Yeah.
Most thickness textured dark beers. How do you make them that way?
Sam, why don't you take that one if you'd like to?
I'd love to. Yeah, so one of the big things that makes that thickness is the protein content, and the second big one is residual sugars, basically the sugars that weren't fermented during the process of making the alcohol. So I think usually what gives you the most thickness, in my opinion, is that protein content, and that's based on the malts that we use. The more wheat, oats, rye, those kind of malts are very high in protein, and those proteins will stick around. They can't be fermented, so they stick around and give you a nice thick mouthfeel. The other part of that is the more sugar that's left in the beer, the more thickness is imparted by that sugar, and it adds a little bit of that viscosity that you would get. The more sugar you have, something like a syrup becomes very viscous, and you get the same thing going on in the beer. Yeah,
it's a good answer. I mean, for those laymen out there, non-brewers, think about something like Black Tuesday. At 19% alcohol, fully fermented, it's not necessarily a really thick beer. But if that beer had only fermented halfway and was left super, super sweet, all of that sweetness would be providing the mouthfeel of the beer. Another way that not all of our beers, but another way that we add mouthfeel is by back sweetening, and sometimes those back sweetenings are with peaches or something like that. So in this case, we've added some peach flavor to the beer as well. Micah, did I miss anything you wanna jump in on?
I mean, I think you covered it pretty well.
Thank you.
Especially Sam's very accurate description of the brewing process in that.
Yep.
I think that, but I think with a beer like this, like say, the peach definitely adds some of that mouthfeel and character that you're going to get just from that, like the sweetness of the fruit. But I think just in general, like finding that nice balance between like a fully, like a finished, really high ABV fermentation and then what could be a sweet stout simply because the fermentation didn't finish. And I think that's the key is, finding that balance of where you're actually planning this to finish its fermentation, leaving sugar behind, not necessarily having a sweet stout because your yeast couldn't quite finish it. Which is where I think sometimes that's the difference in other places that might have a sweet stout. It could simply just be that the fermentation didn't finish, which could also not finish the beer well in other aspects.
Cool.
Sure.
Sweet. So, like we said, Practice What You Peach, available now online in tasting rooms. We want to move on to the next one.
Let's do it, Connor.
You kind of queued it up a little bit earlier, but maybe Pi R Square. This is the second year we're kind of doing this one. Last year was dark fruits, huckleberry and blueberry. This year we went with some of the red fruits, the raspberry and cherry. And like you said, I was a proponent of no cinnamon in here, but I really wanted to crank up the vanilla, add some of the sweetness, and go with like kind of like a pie a la mode kind of thing. Was kind of where my head was at when we did the first batch last year. So yeah, I cracked one of these open earlier, and I gotta say it's really, really good. The raspberry is definitely the star of the show, but the cherry kind of shines through as well. I love the blend though. It's that kind of Melange 3, Melange Noir kind of blend with the anniversary, the White Oak Sap, the Black Tuesday, and I just think that those bases all lend really well to flavorings. And so yeah, this one is really good. It's kind of I know you said that the cobbled together is kind of the this year's take on Connor's Cobbler, but this one reminds me a lot of the Connor's Cobbler as well. It's probably just the raspberry shining through.
Yeah.
I
I think we took a little bit of inspiration from that Connor's Cobbler, just in using the raspberry and the cherry. And I think it works really well, but I also think you're right, Connor. I think that the blend is slightly different than last year, and in my opinion, a little more, better, a little more better. Yeah. What do you think about that?
I get more. I feel like last year was,
words,
Yeah, I feel like last year was a little more stout heavy, and I think this year is a little more maybe like anniversary heavy. You get the real like maltiness, like caramel toffee notes from the anniversary shining through here.
And I think last year we used up a different barley wine we had, and I think that we didn't have that around this year, so it made the blend have to be different. And then I think we added a little more stout, believe it or not, because we were playing with red fruit instead of dark fruit, whereas last year we were really minimized the stout because we knew that we'd get a ton of color from the fruit that would kind of mimic that appearance anyway. So this year I think well, let me ask you this, really, Connor, and everybody else,
it's got a very red tinge to it.
Who likes this one better than last year?
I like the tartness of this one. The tartness, like that wins me over a lot. The cherries come through, and it gives you that little dryness at the end that makes you want to have another sip.
Yeah, I'm a fan of this one a little more so too. I think last year's was a little more syrupy for or maybe I was just getting used to it. I don't know, but this year I was ready for it.
Yeah, I think I prefer this year. I think the red fruits are just really bright and kind of shine through. They taste really, really good.
Nice.
Kind of blend together. And I think, like you said, the lighter blend, like a little less of the dark stuff, the stout and barley wine, definitely lets the fruit kind of shine through a little more.
Yeah. What about the rest of you? What do y'all think?
I think the note on this beer is really impressive. It smells like a pie fresh out of the oven. For something with cherry, raspberry, and vanilla, it all plays together to smell just like a freshly baked cherry pie.
That's weird because I don't get that at all because there's no cinnamon in there. So when I smell it,
You don't need the cinnamon.
yeah. So when I smell it, I don't smell pie. I want to kind of just turn over the top of the cobbler on it. Like it's more like a cobbler to me personally.
With a scoop of vanilla ice cream.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where this goes in a year too, because last year's Pyre Square right now is at a really sweet point where it's aged really well, and I think this one's going to do the same thing down the road.
So answering Dave Janikowski's question, no, mash was not used in Pyre Square. It was actually a stout blend or a barley wine we had called Raisin Brain that was never released on its own. It was just a blender for some different beers we were making.
Yeah, I think we did a couple pilot beers with it as well. But
yeah, Connor, do you remember what beer? Do you remember what beer that was? Oh, I think it was. Oh, it was part of Melange Noir. That's what it was. It was a beer.
But was it originally part of like the Kron series? Did that get blended into like the barley wine? No. It was a one-off beer that we made. Well, maybe Connor. I know we did a couple like pilots with it, like tasting room only pilots, but yeah, it was never like a full release of its own.
It was a beer called Raisin Brain, and it was the idea was to use raisins and kind of go down that desiccated spent black fruit avenue, if you will, kind of figgy and raisiny and stuff, which rolls into a barley wine. It works for that. Old ales.
I remember doing some raisin trials where you brought in like concentrate and like pulp and puree and brought in a dozen different kinds of raisins and tasted through them all and found the ones we wanted to use.
Yeah, and it was just a beer that, my memory is starting to come back a little bit, but ideally it was a beer we were really excited about making, and then we ended up just blending it away into other projects, So it goes to show you that sometimes all the work you do and what you're excited about doesn't really work out to be its own thing. It becomes something else.
I think we've got quite a few of those beers that we wanted to be one thing and they ended up being something completely different or being a blend or whatever.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I think the great thing about Raisin Brain is that even though we didn't end up using it as its own beer, it turned out to actually be a perfect blender because it had a lot of body, a lot of flavor. It had like a lot of character to it. Maybe not enough that we ended up having it on its own, but like it worked perfect. I think the interesting thing is I think that Pyre Squared this year versus Pyre Squared last year, like if we would have used Raisin Brain this year, we'd be drinking a completely different beer than what we're drinking.
Sure.
So I think it's interesting how, it worked really well in the Pyre Squared last year, but in this year, I think it would add a different character that wouldn't necessarily pair as well with like that raspberry and cherry. So it's kind of cool that we're able to at least take something like that and then use it appropriately.
Sure, I think that's a really good point. That's a good point. Well said.
Serpentine things we made it better this year, so I think we're all in agreement that the year 2 of Pyre Square is batch 1 is not always better, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty good last year, so it's nice to, just one up it.
Yeah, it was really good last year too.
Mm-hmm. I want to give a shout out to Gilbert Garcia on here. You guys know Gilbert?
Yeah, I know Gilbert.
I've known Gilbert for 8 years. He's a fantastic guy. Thanks for tuning in, Gilbert. What about your cobbler, dude?
Yeah, cobbled together. Do we want to move on to that?
Yeah.
Another one of our member pie inspired beers. This one obviously is going to be. Let me open it up. Obviously, very different in that it's a blend of just stouts. We've got 4 different stouts that got blended into this.
So we have I believe it's One and Done, which is a rye stout. It's Monster Stout, which is a base we use to make Vanilla Villain. Black Tuesday, and Chronology Porter.
Chronology Porter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a really.
How many years has that been aged now? That's
It's
That is
24
real.
months right now.
yeah, nice.
It's a really good blend of stouts. I'm really proud of this beer without the blueberries and the blackberries. I think it's a really fantastic blend of stout. And I think it plays really well, with those two fruits. And, I was thinking about this beer, just wanting to do like a blackberry cobbler. But then Connor was like, "No, you have to do blueberries," and I was like, "No, I'm the production manager here. I'm gonna make a blackberry." And then he's like, "Well, why don't we just cobble this thing together?" And I said, "Connor, like, you're gonna have to move." So I sent him out to South Carolina.
South Carolina, yeah, it's dark here.
So that he could do a little bit more research. I think he's speaking out of turn. I think he talks about eating a lot of pie, but I don't think he really does.
So you're telling everybody I have the power. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, because it's not that you have the power. You exhaust me with the arguing. So I have to.
So you made me move.
Yeah, I made you move across the country. No,
Cool.
Seriously, folks. No, I think that there was something we wanted to like kind of do this month, and that was use multiple fruits. We had some really good success with Pyre Square last year, and Connor's probably doing the same. And I know it probably looks a little bit lazy that you did red fruit in one and blue fruit in the other, but I think they just work. And if
they're
you
very
look
different beers too.
they are. They're completely
and the
different.
fruit accentuates like a different part of it. I think that, like you said, it's a very like heavy, viscous stout blend. It's got a lot of that. I don't know if it's the monster stout or the one and done, but it's got that really like on the back end. You get that really like double mash, kind of like malty, thick oat flavor. It's really nice, and I feel like whereas Pyre Square, I feel like is very fruit forward. I feel like in this one, the fruit kind of just like holds the stout up, like it kind of accentuates it a little more.
Yeah, I agree. I think it tastes more like a stout with fruit.
Yeah.
And the other one tastes more like a fruit beer.
Right.
I think it does. I don't think it's overdone. I don't think it loses its bourbon barrel aged complexity at all. Pyre Square, but I do think it's more fruit influenced. Where this one is, most of that sweetness is coming from the stout. And I think it works really well, personally.
Yeah, this is really good. They're both good. And when I had that Pyre Square, I didn't think any of these were going to be better, but I think this might be better than Pyre Square for me. This is really nice.
Man.
I think I'm with you on that, Connor.
Yeah. You guys all have Connor to thank, because really these are all his inspirations. He loves
if it's fruited pie and cobbler things, maybe I had some input.
Yeah, he absolutely loves that stuff.
Yeah. This is a really good take. I don't know if
what says Sam?
I think this is a great take. I do like how we went red to blue. Last year Pyre Square was blue, now it's red. Cobbler was red last year, now it's blue. That was fun.
That's like all I have. That's like pretty much all the creativity I have. I have no idea what to do next year.
Oh, you can do green fruits. We'll do like kiwi and lime.
Green apples and limes.
Coming out this week for St. Patrick's Day. That's a really complex beer, though, for what's going on. Very jammy. Like, it comes across as like a classic, like, preserves. Like homemade jam.
Yeah, I feel like Pyre Square, you're left with like the finishing notes or the fruit. You get a lot of that raspberry and kind of like that creek cherry kind of influence. But then with this, I feel like you get the fruit up front and then it finishes with that really like chocolatey, heavy stout flavor. It's really nice.
So we chose two beers from last year's Black Tuesday small batch to recreate for this year, and Connor's Cobbler was one of them. And that's what this is, right? It's kind of taking inspiration from that, with the exception that we didn't want it to just be a Black Tuesday variant. So that's why we came up with a different blend of stouts. And then you'll see another beer in a couple months called We All Scream, which is kind of a takeoff of Scoop, Scoop, Scoop. And the same thing, we used a stout blend, or will be using a stout blend that's very, very similar to this. It's not the same blend, but it's very similar. And the reason being, again, we just didn't want to do another Black Tuesday treatment. I'm not at all suggesting that Black Tuesday is one-dimensional. What I am suggesting is that using a blend of select stouts, is we can create a completely different stout blend to pile different flavors on top of, and it starts a little bit different. I think Black Tuesday, again, not saying it's one-dimensional, but it's a 19% beer that there's only really one way to go with it, and that's to calm down the heat. And by doing that, you kind of dilute the beer to some degree. It's a challenging beer to make variants out of, and I think using these blends for this beer and for We All Scream later in the year is really going to make the beer stand out in a way that the originals didn't really. So my hope and my guess is that people will like this beer better than Connor's Cobbler. At least I'm hoping so. And that no offense, Connor.
Just because of the namesake.
They're all your beers. So,
I'm cool with it. They're both great beers. Right. Very different, because obviously Connor's Cobbler is just kind of raspberry on its own with some vanilla. But yeah, this is awesome. This is a really good beer. I enjoy this one a lot. Sunday. Yeah, I can get some of the Sunday. What is that? That's Huckleberry and vanilla, right? Or boysenberry and vanilla.
Yeah, boysenberry.
Yeah, like you said, obviously you get a lot more with the stout blend than Sunday would just be Black Tuesday. But yeah, I can get, just because of the dark fruits, I get a lot of those. Yeah, there's some similar notes in there.
No doubt.
Cool. Any did we have any questions about this or no? Nothing. Nobody got questions, just comments.
That's great.
I got a question. Are we using whole fruit or purees, or kind of a blend of both?
Well, we tend to use anything and everything, depending on the price point and the labor it takes to process. In this beer in particular, we use purees. More so on Micah's side. On the wild beer side, do we tend to use a little bit more like fresh hand processed fruit? Micah's in his. Well, actually, I don't know if you were on site at True last year when they're doing the cucumber beer, but certainly this year he's got, I don't know, 2,000 pounds of cucumbers processed by hand, 3,000 pounds. So we do a lot of fresh stuff, but more so on the wild side. The beer's a little more forgiving than it is on the clean side. So
the other thing with that is purees have gotten so good lately. It's really nice to be able to have like a product that has been pasteurized. That's not going to contaminate your beer. It still gives you all the flavor that you're looking for that you would be getting out of that fresh fruit.
For sure.
I mean, I'll say there is something very satisfying though about working with fresh fruit. That just the knowledge that you're standing at a table like chopping peaches or cutting pineapple or like literally squeezing blueberries with your hand to create your own puree. Like there's something really, really satisfying about that, to know that you're going to put it in a beer that's going to be incredible. But sometimes it also is not practical to use a fresh fruit to try to squeeze, 1,000 pounds of blueberries. It just doesn't work. But sometimes we get the opportunity, especially like on the sour side, like Jeremy said, getting to work with those fresh fruits is a bit of a game changer for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. So I think we'll move. I guess we're done with the. We have some other pie themed beers available this month. We've got our Hoarders BANANAS bananas, which is the rum banana cream pie inspired beer, and then we also have Third Course off the True side, which was that lemon and blueberry kind of hand pie inspired sour.
Yep.
So, and then I think the next one we'll move on to is our spring seasonal, Saison de Lente. I remember, so this is our Brett Saison. I remember personally, I think it was like 2014 or 15, coming into the tasting room and like always starting with a pint of this, because it's just so crisp and clean and just, I don't know, it goes down so well. So it's been a while. I don't know when the last time we brewed this was, but it's been a while since we've had this.
Yeah, we brewed it on pilot. We brewed it on a pilot for the tap room one time, and I think we brewed it maybe for Anniversary Festival one year, but it hasn't been in package since before I started. So it had to be at least 20. I started, 2014 probably.
It was 2009. 2009 was the last time we brewed this like a production scale for package.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, we brewed it on
like
a small scale to have it. Oh, did it? Oh, maybe 2009 was the first one. Then 2013 was the most recent.
Yeah, but yeah, it's been a long time. And when we say like a fan favorite returning, for me that rings true because this is a beer I really liked.
Yeah, I feel like I tried this in the tasting room when I first visited like 10 years ago.
That sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's really good.
Yeah, it's
But
definitely
this was a really fun one to get to remake. Like now that I'm over there at Chiru, like getting to kind of get my hands on this beer, it was really fun to be a part of this because this is an absolute crusher. It's it's almost like the definition of like a funky sour Saison for me because it's not really sour, but it's got that like really great barnyard funk. Like this is kind of the epitome of what I've been excited about trying to kick out and to do it at Saison de Lente. It's just absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, it's got a really like dry crispness, that the barnyard funk. It's got a really unique aroma too. I get like some grapefruit or some like kind of some citrus out of it.
Like
even though
citrus
there's
peel?
no fruit added to it. Yeah, sort of that. Yeah, I don't know. It's really tasty though. It goes down really easy. It's got a great dry finish. This would pair really well with food, I feel like.
It's really nice today where it's like super hot in California.
The word rustic keeps coming up when I'm drinking this one. It's like a easy staff beer where everybody's wanting to get one of these, and it's just an easy drinker, man. Got 90-degree weather for some reason, but
6.5 ABV might be pushing the everyday like staff beer, but it's definitely got that taste to it.
You know our staff.
That's true. Yeah. For a long time, they didn't have much to choose from that was even close to that.
6.5 is like the low end of a session for us. So
yeah, exactly.
Well, that's why I like to say this beer is so much fun too, just because a lot of times we may have like some aspect of like our house Belgian like present in a Saison. We might have some other like fresh Brewers yeast and Saccharomyces, but with this one it's just Brett Brooks and Brett Dre. And so like knowing that this beer is fully fermented just as with Brett strains, it's where you get that really great funk and you get a lot of great character. And it's really cool because there's no adjunct to this. This is a stainless Saison that all the character that you're getting out of this beer is all coming from that yeast and that malt. You know, it's really great that, you know, you get like citrus notes and you're going to get this like dry kind of barnyard funk to it. And it's all just like letting that yeast like just have a great time with it. So I think it's just really fun seeing this beer kind of the way that it finishes really dry, pretty bitter. Like it almost has like a bitter hoppy character to it. And yet this beer wasn't dry hopped. It's got hops in the brew, but it's got a lot of character and that's what really makes it fun.
Yeah, I feel like it's also really unique for us for like a Saison because a lot of times most of our Saisons are coming out of like a foeder. So coming just out of stainless, it's definitely got a very different. You don't get any of that oak or any of those characters coming through it. You just get like the pure beer and you get the funk and it's really nice. I like it.
So is the recipe pretty close to the original? We kept it pretty much the same.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty much. I think if I don't want to speak to any specific changes, but as far as I recall, I don't think we made any changes other than maybe like a substitution in a very similar malt, only by availability. But other than that, it's brewed to be just like it was in the past, and that's why it was exciting because I think it was like the end of last year they said, well, hey, we need like a Saison for spring, and I was like, can we do Saison de Lente? It's been a long time. I'd really love to do that again. And so it's really fun to know that we have reproduced this beer and, in my opinion, done it better than the best. But that's because
and I think it also helps that in the years we've kind of played more with our packaging. So obviously you get the can format now, whereas before it was either draft or 750. That was kind of like the only option. But this kind of beer works great in a can.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's just one drastic change in this beer, and that is that we made it better.
Well, cheers to that.
Made it new and made it better. Cool.
Also, there's I like this comment on here from. Here we go. He's excited. Cheers, Brian.
Favorite old school brewery beers. I agree. It's definitely up there. Yeah. Cheers, Brian.
But Dave Jankowski did mention on here that he feels like the Griswolds are feeling a bit slighted. So I think
they initially came on to try to embarrass, but have since.
I think we should turn it over to Brett and let Brett talk a little bit.
It does have Brett in the beer, so
that is true. Well, not me personally. I'm not in the beer. I don't know if that's legal.
It's not your own personal yeast blend.
But yeah, I mean, this is one of probably my favorite Taru beers we came out with in a while, just for accessibility. People kind of are a little hesitant when they walk into the tasting room and they hear that it's a sour or a wild ale. They don't really know what that means. So giving them this as an entry level starter for the Taru as a brand is perfect.
Yeah, agreed. I think it's totally palatable in a way that's not challenging.
So I think we all need to a little bit for the next one, right? Because we've got like a little secret going on.
Mm-hmm.
Want people to know what's going on. But yeah, this is our new offshoot release for the month. Secret. So it's a West Coast IPA, a double West Coast IPA. What hops are in here? I know it was Citra and
Mosaic and Cascade.
Yeah, it's a pretty great beer. I like that beer a lot.
Yeah, it's also fun to do. Oh man, yeah, that smells like West Coast.
I like
it's also fun
treasure
to
chest on the side full of beer cans.
Yeah,
it's fun to play around because we get we obviously do a lot of hazies off of offshoot, and they're all great beers. But it's fun to kind of do something different every once in a while. I can see Michael right through the beer. That's how you know it's the West Coast, right?
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
So I think it's like a low octane double West Coast IPA too. Like it's not the big like cloyingly sweet double IPA. So to me it drinks more like a regular West Coast IPA.
Absolutely.
Which
is
helpful.
8.1 though, so
yeah, but it's not.
Right. It doesn't have that like sweetness to it on the back end. It's very dry finish. Yeah, the bitterness is there. It's nice.
Yeah, I think that's what makes that beer is the bitterness, and that it, you want another drink of it. And it's really good. I'm a fan.
Eat it with something salty. Cool. We have any comments about the offshoot beer? Anybody really digging this one this month? I think this is one of my favorite ones in a while. I really like this. We haven't done a lot of West Coasts lately, and so it's nice to mix it up. And then, like you said, it doesn't have that you don't get the sweetness on the back end, which is nice. This is reminiscent to me of when the hop craze was really, really going, and everybody was like, I want the one with the highest IBU. Everybody was chasing the bitterest beer. This one's a really nice, clean finish. I like it.
Yeah, West Coast are back. They're coming back hot.
There you go. Sam said it.
West Coast.
He's not wrong. They definitely are.
What is the secret? I don't know. That this beer is really good, but that's not really a secret because we're telling everybody.
That's it. We can't tell.
I mean, I think based on the fact that I know who's asking this comment, I think we can say it's because we put 9 bits of goodness in it.
More than some people would.
Yeah.
More than 8.
I mean, I think Sam kind of hit a good point though too. Is like I think for a little while, like the West Coast IPA, people just looked at the IBUs. They were like, the IBUs are 89, and that's what was defining the value of a West Coast. Was that Sam or was that Connor? Sorry, I just realized I may not have got that right. But either way,
you're good.
Yeah,
but I think
some
that was
restaurants.
I think that was the basis of what people were defining a West Coast, was simply just how bitter it was versus like the flavor, the profile, the balance of it. And so it's like, I think that's really nice where it's like, hey, you know, it just because it's incredibly bitter doesn't mean it's a better IPA.
Right.
I think the balance there of bitterness versus, you know, because it could be so bitter that you don't want to take another drink, and then you're kind of defeating the purpose of the beer. So,
well, and the human tongue
think
can
this-
only,
I think this is
you can only
nice
taste so much
middle.
bitterness.
Yeah, anything
Sure,
over
it's-
the IBUs, and you're not supposed to be able to delve it.
Yeah, it doesn't make a difference really.
I think another fun thing too with West Coast coming back is that we're looking a lot more into the malt that's going into them, the fermentation profile. They're really kind of becoming closer to, you know, your traditional German styles, where you're focusing a lot on like what isn't the hops, and then the hops accentuate at the end and give you this final product that they still had a punch at the end, but we're focusing a lot more on getting a really good base beer before the hops.
Yeah, that's good. That's the job.
Good job.
That's
Cool.
the job. Make good beer and then make it better, right?
Always make it better. Cool. So I don't know if anybody's got any more questions. I'm happy to field some more questions if anybody has any. What is this? Somebody agreeing that IPAs are coming back. Here's one about the forced out blend. So back to like cobbled together. Do we plan to just do the forced out blend as a beer on its own, or do we feel like that needs some adjuncts to kind of add some nuance to it?
I don't think it needs adjuncts. Quite honestly, the idea on those beers really came from just not wanting to use Black Tuesday for the base beer. So you know, we have a significant amount of a couple of these stouts still. So I do imagine you'll see them used as blenders throughout the next year on different projects. Is there a desire to release another stout with no adjunct? I'm not sure. We have One and Done Reserve coming out this year, so that'll be another barreling of rye barrels and another year of age. And that beer is, I mean, One and Done is one of my favorites. We did what was the Voodoo collab we did, Connor?
For a spell.
And that came out, was that last December or the year before?
That was the year before. I think that was 2020.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, to answer your question, it was Chris, right? Yeah, Chris. There's no plan for it, but it's not unlikely. I think there's room.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like we've never done. I mean, the whole Melange series was, for the most part, at least the early iterations were just base beer blends.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like you said, the One and Done Reserve, but we'll also have, you know, Black Tuesday Reserve. Obviously, those are adjunctless.
Right.
And then coming up soon, not a stout, but we'll have the new anniversary beer coming up, and you know, that's always a great, just standard, you know, old ale style Solera beer. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of those fun projects. Looks like there are a few more questions. Here's a comment. Cloakroom is pouring beautifully today. That's a great beer, especially gearing up for St. Patrick's Day coming up. Get that dry Irish stout. What was that?
We have that Glasgow release also for the Cloakroom coming up. So keep an eye out. I think we're doing Thursday. We're going to release all the glassware for it. Nice glass for that.
People can get a custom glassware along with their beer.
Yep.
I think Sam should talk about that because this has historically been a Stefan beer, and Sam actually got to brew Cloakroom for the first time. Since Stefan started brewing it, this is the first time someone else brewed it.
I didn't know this was the first time since he started, but yeah, the pressure's high. This is definitely Stefan's baby, and I don't know how many people in the audience know, but he actually took a trip over to Ireland to learn how to brew that recipe. So he's got a lot invested in it, and he put a lot of trust in me to kind of go by what he had learned, and we worked together on it. And some of you guys have been saying it's the best that they've had. We'll wait to see. Best, yeah. See, there we go.
There we go. There's one.
Don't let Stefan see that.
But it's also a beer that I've really held close to myself for personal reasons, and I've enjoyed it a lot myself since it's been on, and so I was really glad that I could just live up to the expectations that we all have for that beer. For the employees, it's a big one. We all look forward to a beer that's below 5% alcohol.
Yeah. Jeremy, I don't know if you took a note, or maybe it's better for Sam on the pilot side, but it sounds like somebody wants a mincemeat pie next year.
Yeah, I saw that. That's great. We should totally do that.
Go the savory pie route.
Meat beer. Perfect.
There you go.
So meat, a cobbler.
We've done some beers like the Elvis. We had the bacon in there. So
yeah, that was
I feel
good.
like we've never done some meat, but
well, Sam's working on a chicken and waffles beer right now.
Oh, there you go.
We're doing it. It's good. We've got it.
And surf and turf also coming up.
Yes.
We're
just trying to figure out how many
Saison. Get that over to Taru, Mike.
Yeah.
Did it. Really let the seafood shine.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I guess we'll wrap it up. It was good to have everybody on here. Like we said, it's Pie Showdown month. Those beers are available in the tasting room online, and of course the big thing, anniversary event. We're really excited to be able to host a full-on event again. We had to cancel in 2020, and then 2021 we did, a little bit smaller. It was a flight event. It was still a lot of fun, but it wasn't what we wanted to throw. And so we're looking forward to throwing like a full-on festival style with a ton of our fun industry friends, get a lot of food out there. We'll have some guest speakers. I think that Jeremy, you'll be doing some panels, I'm sure. Have a hoarder section and just have a lot of fun. And since it's in August, hopefully it'll be a little cooler. We normally throw our anniversary in May.
Not a chance.
Yeah, it'll be a lot cooler.
It'll still be hot, but there's a chance. You never know.
Yeah.
We might get a cold snap.
Yeah, cold snap. Is
but,
that what they call it out there? Cold snap.
I think it'll be a lot of fun. Throw a huge party out of No Canyon. And so, like we said, general admission available now, public and members. And there's a few of the 2-day passes left, which includes the Sunday hangover brunch. And you get your choice of doing that either at the brewery tasting room or at our Taru event space. So yeah, hop on those if you're looking to come hang out for brunch. Definitely hop on those sooner rather than later. But yeah, unless anybody has anything else, I think we kept it to an actual happy hour, which doesn't happen all that often, and you got to try a lot of fun beers. Did you have something, Jeremy? You want to send everybody off with something?
I just want to know if you're coming out for the anniversary party or not.
I'd plan to, unless you want me to stay away. You did send me out here, so maybe you don't want me back.
Pull you back? I should pull you back for it?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all of our happy, smiling faces will be there, and we hope to see everybody else out there with us. It should be a really fun time, and we're super happy to be able to throw like a full event again.
Yep, for sure.
Cool.
It's also good to see Sam, Brett, and Alyssa and Micah on this tonight.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, cheers. Connor, good to see you. Everybody take care.
Cheers.
See
Bye.
you later.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Have a great night.